So hey there, and welcome back to Live from the Wish House with me, Chris Spinner. A one-stop shop for inspiration, a little Chrislosophy, some ordinary enlightenment. And we are diving right into a pet peeve. Drives me crazy. And today I'm going to correct it. Today I am here to save you from yourselves. Do you know how many times a day I see women posting the idea that they are a badass? That's the phrase, the descriptor, a badass. Now, I suppose there's something appealing about describing yourself as that. Sounds edgy, especially if you are a woman that seeks to feel empowered, which I'm guessing is the vast majority of us. But badass? I don't know. Do you really like that descriptor? I don't know if I love that description. Unless you're talking about Stevie Nicks having Lindsey Buckingham play the guitar on stage while she sings Silver Springs, looking him dead in the eyes. If you know, you know. Or Cher. Because I think living your best life at 78 with your young, cool boyfriend on your arm, singing Turn Back Time in the revealing costume you wore 40 years ago, and you still look amazing at the 50th anniversary concert of SNL. Okay, I suppose that's badass. But I still contend that after I flippantly throw that fun little descriptor on those two gals, that they are so much more than that. They are strong, life-tested, formidable women that we have been lucky enough to watch age. And that's what I want to be. A strong, life-tested, formidable woman. We need to stop leaning on the persona of badass. And in this episode, I'm going to tell you why. I consider myself a strong person, a confident woman, and I want to continue to be that. I want to continue to learn and grow. I want to have an open mind. I want to speak my opinions. I want to have enough knowledge that when I speak my opinion, people feel that I'm worth listening to. I want to be well-read and informed. I want to be compassionate and kind. I want to be sexy and playful and smart. I want to show up with an air of certainty. I strive to keep myself healthy on the inside and on the outside so that I feel my physical appearance reflects my self-worth. I'm not talking about body negativity or striving to look like a movie star or feeling insecure. That's another conversation. I'm talking about presenting my best self. I want to love who shows up. I want to love who I am. And I want to believe I can have the power to change and make decisions that support that personal empowerment. And all of that is not easy, but I want to accomplish it, and I want to feel accomplished. And I don't think all of what I just described in its richness and divinity can be summed up by the phrase badass. Badass seems so harsh to me. It feels like somebody who's been disappointed, who's been disillusioned, who had expectations. And those expectations weren't met, so they put on an armor of badass. It's a wall. It's a fence. It's like sticks and stones can break my bones, but names will never hurt me. You know why? Because I'm a badass. I don't care what anybody thinks of me. And you know why? Because I'm a badass. But you don't really believe that. You can't believe that. To me, underneath badass is a hurt person. And speaking from a woman's perspective, a hurt little girl. And I think if you're describing yourself loudly and often as a badass, you're trying to protect her from hurt you are experiencing now and from hurt that was experienced a long time ago. From disappointment and disillusionment that you are experiencing now, and from disappointment and disillusionment that you experienced a long time ago. When I see someone carrying on about how they are a badass, I feel like they go home and cry at night. You know, I saw a mug the other day, which prompted this podcast. I saw it on an online store advertisement, because that's what social media is now, a ton of online store advertisements, but I digress. But it struck me because this mug had a lot of little affirmations that I would have felt really akin to, except they were all surrounded by the feeling and narrative of being a badass. It said things like, I emote badass energy. Today is a good day to be a badass. And other little affirmations that used a lot of colorful language, like, I'm like a blank ray of sunshine. Use your imagination to fill that in. And I don't care what anybody thinks of me. And I think the purpose of this mug is that you're supposed to wake up in the morning and put your coffee in it and reflect on those feelings. Intend the words of those affirmations. Okay, so you're probably saying, oh, I think that mug was just a joke. Maybe it was. But to me, if I had that object in my home to see every day or to drink coffee out of it every day, that would put me in a very combative mindset. It will put me in a really angry mindset. Affirmations are intended to put you in a mindset to attract. And I believe what that mindset would attract is negative energy. It simply wouldn't make me feel good. And it wouldn't make me feel good in the long run. Accomplished, strong, formidable, those are the words that will attract the confident energy I want to emote. I'd be going out to face the day with a sense of self-respect, not as somebody you better watch out for. I don't want people to watch out for me. I want people to look upon me. Such a difference in energy. I'm going to say it again. I don't want people to watch out for me. I want people to look upon me. See, words mean something, and thoughts become things. I say this over and over. It takes work, and this work takes vulnerability. And who wants to be vulnerable? But I'm not suggesting you be vulnerable in front of others. It's a vulnerability that you show yourself. It's a vulnerability that you discover yourself by meditating on the hard questions. Now, it's always when I start speaking about my journey in this personal deep dive of introspection that I reiterate this point. While we all have the skills to look a little closer at ourselves, there really is no shame in realizing you may need a professional to guide that discovery. It's kind of my little don't try this alone at home admonition unless it's comfortable for you. I began my quest years ago with professional guidance, and then I took my own show on the road. Bottom line, I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV. I'm simply sharing a little ordinary enlightenment, things that I believe, things that I do, things that have worked for me. And it's always my intention that something I say connects with you. So now back to our regularly scheduled Chrislosophy. I left off at meditating on the hard questions. And for today, here are the questions. Why do I think badass would be a good description of me? Might there not be other words that describe the strength I'm looking for without that anger attached? And lastly, what am I angry about? What am I disappointed about? What am I disillusioned about? And then maybe a conversation with that inner child where you pose the same questions. And after that little field trip of self-discovery, perhaps you'll consider the words I said at the beginning of today's conversation, only in the affirmative. I am a strong person. I am a confident person and continue to be. I continue to learn and grow. I have an open mind. I want to speak my opinions. I share my personal skills. I have enough knowledge that when I speak my opinion, people feel that it's worth listening to. I am well read and informed. I am compassionate and kind. I am sexy and playful and smart. I show up with an air of certainty. I keep myself healthy on the inside and on the outside, and my physical appearance reflects my self-worth. I love who shows up. I love who I am, and I know that I have the power to change and to make decisions that support the personal empowerment. I am accomplished. And there's no way that all of that affirmative speak in its richness and divinity can equal badass. So why don't you take those affirmations and put those on your mug and then follow me for more ordinary enlightenment. Now, this is the penultimate episode of this introductory 8-episode series on living your best life with positivity, intention, and possibilities, all through my lens, with lots of Chrislosophy and some ordinary enlightenment sprinkled in. Next up here in the Wish House, parenting yourself. See you next time.